And we're recording.
Hey.
Okay, introduce yourself and your topic.
Okay, so as you may know, my name is Akash, and me and Hart have been doing a project, somewhat independently, somewhat together, on aquaponics. And before we get into the whole system stuff, I thought I'd like to introduce some of the science behind it. Very, very basic stuff. So hopefully you will all get it. Okay, so the first question I want to ask everybody is like, what are plants made of? Where do they come from? Like the actual matter of plants, where does it come from? Can anybody guess?
Nice try.
Like for instance, you could say that most of the biomass of human beings comes from the food we eat, at least an adult. You could argue. What do you think? Where do you think the matter for plants comes?
The bag?
Yeah, that's a good answer, yeah. It's actually, yeah. I just want to defer to a video by Finn.
Doesn't do what you have to do.
Where does it come from? Trees come out of the air. They surely come out, you know. They come out of the air. The carbon dioxide in the air goes into the tree and it changes it, kicking out the oxygen and pushes the oxygen away from the carbon and leaving the carbon substance with water. Water comes out of the ground, you see. Only to have it get in there. It came out of the air, didn't it? It came down from the sky. So in fact, most of the tree, almost all of the tree is out of the ground.
Guys.
I'm sorry, it's out of the air. There's a little bit from the ground.
Yeah. He's got a much longer series on things that is very interesting. Anyway, yeah, so as you said, the plants come from the air. So you really don't need ground you don't need soil to actually grow the plant, which is where aquaponics comes in. So,
Substitute.
okay. So when you look at a plant, you've got what's called the xylem, and well, this is a stem. It's got the xylem, the phloem, and all that stuff, and you've got the leaves and all of that. All of it comes from, pretty much most of it's made up of carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. That's where most of it comes from. Most of it's made up, like a very large number of the mass comes from carbon and oxygen, which you get from the air. So again, this is why you don't really need ground to grow the plants. When you're looking at aquaponics, you look at three things to start off with. They're called NPK. There are three nutrients that are necessary for a plant to grow: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. And that's essentially all you need to balance to some degree with the plant. Oxygen can come, carbon dioxide and oxygen comes from the air. You don't need to mess around with that. So how does it actually happen in nature, right? It's the plant, the system for growing a plant actually is supported by two cycles, kind of like a bicycle. Hey. So yeah, so you basically have two major cycles when it comes to rearing a plant. You've got the carbon cycle, and you've got the nitrogen cycle. Now, the carbon cycle is not really important when you're doing aquaponics because it's pretty much done for you. It's all in the air. It's a large system that spans the entire planet, and unless we completely fuck it up, messing with global warming or whatever, we're fine with that. The really intricate and important thing is the nitrate cycle, or the nitrogen cycle, to be more accurate. The nitrogen cycle it can span a large area, but it's generally more localized, especially when you're doing aquaponics, because when you grow a plant in the water, it's not a part of the main ecosystem. So things like the nitrogen from the soil, you can't get it because you're so you can control that somehow. So what you do is you balance three key organisms, just like nature, in this small system, in a small closed system. It's fish, plants, bacteria. And when you have three organisms like that, they all want their own thing to survive. So you got to balance that. That's the trick to aquaponics. It's the real thing. So again, if you just look at the nitrogen cycle, as you can see, I actually, yeah, I went to art school, so yeah. It kind of goes at this arrow is just for the food, general protein and all that stuff. The fish essentially poop out stuff that's basically ammonia or gets converted to ammonia from larger quantities. That's the thing that really smells. And then it gets converted to nitrites by a bacteria called Nitrosomonas, and which is present in the water. And it gets converted to NO3 by two other types of bacteria, Nitrobacteria and Spira. Those are also in the water. So what happens is fish need a specific pH, plants need a specific pH, and the bacteria need a specific pH. They all need oxygen and all that stuff. So that's essentially the real makeup of the plant, the makeup of an aquaponics system. It's balancing this. You have other things. So far the NPK, you have phosphorus. Phosphorus is readily available. It dissolves very easily in water as phosphates, and it gets absorbed. You don't really need any organisms to break it down like nitrogen. Although sometimes you have to supplement it. A lot of aquaponics farmers fail to do that, and they get low yields as a result. Then you have potassium. Potassium is a heavy metal which, because you're not using soil, it will have to be. Sometimes it have to be supplemented. Sometimes you can get it in the fish poop as well. It gets cycled in. The other two, the P and K of NPK is like just fairly straightforward to deal with. This is the real trick. So that's basically the groundwork for the system. That's it.
Sorry, you have some questions?
Yeah, you want to take questions?
If you like, you have any questions?
Yeah.
Okay, so is aquaponics plug and play or is it prone to problems?
It is prone to problems.
Oh, could you give me some examples?
Sorry?
Could you give us an
He's
example
warning.
from your own experience?
He's in denial. The first stage of grief.
I think we should answer that question after he gives after the whole presentation, because it's something like both of us can give our inputs on.
Okay.
Are you a bad fish father or something?
Yes.
Did you commit fisherify?
Okay, can we take a quick break? I'm going to save this and then do another one. Is yours long, Harry? Is yours long? Harry.
Is yours long? Nothing wants to know.
Is your presentation long?
Everyone was already
Shut up. Is your presentation long?
It's about 15 to 20 minutes max.
Okay, then let me take a pause to copy this over and then we'll do another one. Okay.
Okay.